Hi Shankia, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So, thank you so much for coming in. And after our phone conversation last week, you stated that you'd like to come in and see me. And so, what brought you here today?
I came today because I'm stuck between leaving my husband and staying with my husband. He's become abusive verbally and physically, but I don't know if I want to stay with him or leave.
Okay, so what you're telling me is that you're having a bit of a difficult time right now making up your mind as to whether you want to leave him or not.
Yes.
Okay. And tell me more about when this first began.
We used to have a good relationship until his business started declining. At the decline of his business, at first he came verbally aggressive, and then it turned physical. He was upset because his business is not making as much money as it used to, and my income has become slightly higher than him because business for me is still good.
Okay. So he was at one point a successful businessman and everything was good for everybody until things start looking kind of bad with the business world.
Yes.
Okay. And what was this like for you when the abuse first started, the verbal abuse?
Well, at first I thought it was just because he was upset, and um, and I kind of just didn't worry about it. But then it started on a daily basis, and it started affecting my children and the way that they um, interact with me. They yell at me, they point at me, they're mimicking their father. So at first I just thought, oh, he's upset. Once business is good, things will go back to normal. But they haven't went back to normal.
Oh, wow. So the kids are now exhibiting aggressive behaviors, and you believe this is as a result of their father doing the same thing to you?
Yes, very aggressive. And they even role play with each other. Um, I have a little girl and a little boy, and my little boy will say, well, you play mommy and I'll play daddy. And then he'll fuss at my daughter, his sister, and point his fingers and yell and just acting like their father.
And so, how do you think you staying in this relationship truly impact your children?
If I stay, it won't be good, but I was raised in a single parent household, so I want my children to have both their mother and father. So I don't think if staying would be a good thing, but leaving wouldn't be good either. So I don't know what to do.
So, at this time, you don't see it possible for you to raise your children outside of the house, living differently from their father? Or you think they have to be under the same roof?
No, I'll be able to support my children, if he's not in the household. That's not a problem, but just not having a father to me wouldn't be good for them. I don't want my children to grow up in two separate houses with me in one house and him in another house. But from a financial standpoint, I would be able to support my children without him.
Okay, so it seems as if there is kind of two different things going on here. You're kind of concerned about the effect this is having on your children, but yet you're having a difficult time leaving because you still love him.
Yes, I do. I love my husband. I don't just want to leave him because he hit me a couple times and pushed me. I just wanted to get better. But I've asked him to seek help, and he doesn't think that he needs help. He thinks that what he's doing is okay. And after he does it, he's apologized. He apologizes, and then he's fine, and we're fine for a couple of days, and then you know, it's just random. I never know what to expect.
But if you see the negative impact that it's having on the children, why is it so hard for you to leave?
Because I love him.
So on the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the the highest and 1 being the lowest, how willing are you to to leave him for the benefit of your children? Where do you see yourself at this time?
I'm at a 5. It's like, should I stay or should I go? So I'm in the middle. I think I'm at a 5 because part of me wants to stay and part of me wants to leave.
And what would it take for you to move from a 5 higher up on the importance scale?
I think I've came to the conclusion that um, if he hits me again, then I know for sure that I won't stay. If he hits me again, I'll definitely leave until he receives some type of counseling or therapy or something, because I can't continue to let him just to hit me. But I've threatened to leave him, and so he hadn't hit me in about 2 weeks, but now the verbal abuse has gotten worse. So now he's really messing up my self esteem.
So with this expectation, what will happen if he doesn't change his habits? I mean, there is no guarantee that he will not hit you again. If the verbal abuse is getting worse, what can guarantee that he will not hit you again?
There's no guarantee. I'm scared that he's gonna do it. I feel like at any time that he might do it.
So you're scared, but yet you're willing to stay to see if basically, if he's going to do it again. You're giving him the opportunity to do it again, basically, is what I'm hearing from you. Because you know that he's capable, but yet you're really having a difficult time deciding whether or not you want to leave. How can I help you get past some of the difficulties you're experiencing?
I think by what you just said, you just helped me because I didn't realize that I'm giving him the opportunity to do it again by it's like I'm waiting around for him to do it, and I didn't even think about that before, that I was just waiting for it. I'm like, as soon as he does it, I'm out. But now that you're saying it, that I do have an opportunity to leave, you know, maybe I should.
And for this change to happen, what would it have to do to make it happen? It really sounds as if you have the capabilities to leave, because you told me that you pay your own bills for the most part and you can take care of yourself living separately from him. So for this change to happen, what really would you have to do?
Honestly, all I would have to do is just take my children and just get in my car and leave. I have an apartment that I've already been renting for 2 months that he doesn't know about. So I have somewhere to go. My rent is already paid. Um, I have my mother and sisters that are willing to help me, but it's like I'm stuck. I'm stuck because I don't want to take my children from their father. I think he'll try to get custody of my kids, and so I just feel like I'm stuck.
So from what you're saying, you really have a very strong support system. You have the resources available to you for you to make this move. But you're just at a hard point that you cannot get beyond. And I just want to really ask you this question. It's called a miracle question. I don't know if you have ever heard of it before. But let's just suppose for a moment what it would be like if something strange happened and that a miracle occurred overnight after you went to sleep. And the reason you came to me today and the problem you brought to me is solved when you woke up tomorrow morning. What would be the first thing that you'll notice to let you know that a miracle must have happened? And who in your life would have noticed the change?
That's if I could wake up and go back to a time where we could just wake up and say, "Good morning, honey," or "Good morning, love," without waking up and having to fight. He just wakes up mad. Just a simple good morning. That would be a miracle for me. And that miracle will affect me and my children because, as soon as I argue with him, I sometimes want to take it out on them. So everybody will be affected by it. I would be happy to get up. I would be happy to see him awake. Sometimes I just wish I can just ease out of bed and he doesn't have to say anything to me. So a miracle would be waking up without having to argue with my husband about nothing, things that don't even make sense.
So your miracle would basically still involve him being in the picture. So you don't vision this change happening without him being in your life. This miracle.
I want him to be a part of the miracle. I just don't want to. I feel that if I leave him, then he won't have anyone. So I would like for him to be a part of the miracle.
And how many chances have you given him already to be a part of this miracle? How many years? I believe you told me you've been working on this for 6 years, and nothing has yet to change. So when do you see that change happening? Or do you see that change happening?
Honestly, I don't see that change happening. When I try to do the math, 6 years, 300 out of the 365 days in a year are bad days. So that's something to think about.
Because you're saying basically that you have more bad days than good.
Definitely. If it's 365 days in a year, 65 of them might be good.
That's a very small percentage of the days you live your life. So suppose you do not leave. What's the worst thing that you think can happen to you?
He can kill me. I think he's going to kill me if I leave.
So right now you're telling me you fear that he may harm you if you leave.
Yes.
And I see where that could be a concern for you. But can you also see where the possibilities are there for him to harm you if you stay?
Yes, he'll continue to belittle me. I don't want my son to grow up thinking that it's okay to curse at all, let alone, curse at his wife and be disrespectful. And like I said, he's already mimicking his father and treating his sister bad because he sees how his dad is treating his mother. So I think I'm coming to realize that I'm not the only one being affected. My children are being affected as well.
Okay. So if you were to decide to leave him, what do you think the difference would be for you and your children in the long run?
We'd be able to be happy. They would be happy. They wouldn't have to always see mommy crying or stressed out. And I think me and my children will be good without him. Because don't get me wrong, he's a good father to them, but the behavior that he's exhibiting is just not good. And then for my daughter's sake, I don't want her to grow up thinking that her mother is weak.
Wow, that is very powerful. That is very powerful. So what we can do is discuss this more in our next session. But if you have any concerns or need to talk to me before then, you can always give me a call and we can discuss this further. Do you have any questions before we leave or wrap this up?
Not at this time, I don't. I just want to thank you. Just being here today really opened up, you know, my readiness to be able to move because 6 years is a long time that I've been dealing with this. It's not like I don't have the resources, but you just made me think. And the miracle question really just brought my whole demeanor about everything that's going on. So I want to thank you today.
And you're welcome. It was a pleasure working with you today.
Thank you. I'll see you again on next week.
Yes. Bye-bye.